So what's up, YouTube? So you might be wondering, why is there a part 2 video when you already reviewed your Yamaha Raider before? Well, it turns out that some of you were really interested in the Yamaha Raider. I think more interested in it than I was when I bought the thing. So the reason for the video is I wanted to go over the Raider, the 2009 Yamaha Raider that I own, a little more in depth, because I had some questions, I had some comments from people that watched the first video and were like, hey, dude, how about like a cold start? How about like some exhaust noise? How about you explain that seat? How about you explain why that bike is perfect for somebody who's 6'7"? I know, I'm unusually tall. So this is gonna be a quick video, but I did want to address a couple of the questions that people had about the Yamaha Raider, which probably carry over pretty well to the Stratoliner, to the Warrior, and any other iteration of the 1700 to 1900 cc Yamaha muscle bike, cruiser, whatever. They made a bunch of different variations of this bike with this engine. I know the Warrior is a 1700 and it's a little different, I understand that, but without further ado, let's take a closer look at the Raider. Also, it's super gross and dirty. I'm sorry, I've been really busy. Had time to make the video, didn't have time to wash the bike. So one of the main questions that I had about the Raider when I did my first video was, what type of exhaust are you running? Well, the bike came with a 2-in-1 Vance & Hines exhaust. There's a few different options for the Raider. It's not a super crazy common bike, but exhaust manufacturers have supported this bike for a long time, so there are options if you're buying one or wanting to change the exhaust on your stock Raider. So this is the Vance & Hines 2-in-1. So obviously you've got your big, I think it's a 4-inch pipe, which is the exit, and then obviously that's the 1, and then it goes into the 2, which this is the second cylinder, and then the secondary pipe, or the first pipe, I'm sorry, leads into the first cylinder. I know this is a pretty stupid thing to break down, but some people honestly don't know what a 2-in-1 exhaust means. So now that you know what the exhaust is, let's hear how it sounds. The bike is a little warm. It's not up to operating temperature. I only rode it a couple miles from my house to get to the location. So the bike is not completely cold, bear that in mind, and there is also unfortunately some highway traffic behind us, but we will do our best. Now the bike itself is actually pretty loud with the baffles in. You can remove the baffles on that 2-in-1 exhaust. I think I'm good. I never thought I would say that, but on the street, I don't want to be a total dickhead, and it's plenty loud enough for me, especially if I'm ever wearing an open face helmet, which I almost never do. I'm a pretty big fan of the full face. That thing it's good, it's loud. It pops and bangs and does all that other stuff. Also, an important note on this bike is, and I'm not gonna show you because it does have a seat that's kind of tough to fit on, which I'll talk about in a minute. There is a Power Commander 5 tucked in below that, so the bike is tuned for the exhaust. So while we're at it, let's address the seat. So I'm 6'5", I'm super tall. This is not your factory Raider seat. You can see just how low of a profile this seat has compared to the stock one. The stock one is much thicker. It's a good 2 or 3 inches taller than this. So when I'm seated in this seat, I'm sitting nice and low in the bike. So my foot position, or sorry, my body position is really good, even being super tall. I wish I had more information on where the seat came from. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a brand or a mark on it. If you're a Raider fan, you might be able to look at the seat and tell me where it came from. That's how the bike came. Again, the guy that had this bike before me was 6'5", 6'6". I have no idea what brand seat that is. I've had it off a bunch of different times. I've looked at it upsides and backwards and sideways. I don't know. But it's a custom seat and I wouldn't want to ride this bike without it. While we're on that subject, this bike does have the 5-inch forward extension. So where your forward controls are is not standard. Standard on the Raider, they'd be much further back, but these are 5-inch extensions. I believe the extension is actually right down here. So someone can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what allows the forward controls to sit so far forward and again, give me a really nice seating position on the bike. As far as other custom stuff, you can see it does have switchback turn signals. So this is not the factory turn signal color, and I will awkwardly show you. So this is the standard DRL color, and then you can see, I hope it shows up on camera okay, I turn on the turn signal and they flash in amber. Now I will say, as far as the LED turn signal goes, some guys with these Yamaha Raiders have installed LED bulbs, whether they're turn signals, headlights, brake lights, and they've had issues. They've had a whining, some type of electronic noise, electric whining from installing the LEDs. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it would be. I've never dealt with it. I do have an LED dual filament headlight bulb for this thing. It's not necessarily a brand I trust. I like Diode Dynamics from St. Louis. That's what all the lighting that I've installed on the bike is. The headlight that I have is, I'm not gonna bash anybody, but it's not from them. They don't make a dual filament headlight bulb, which is what you would need for this bike. So I don't love the fact that the turn signals and the headlights don't match, but for now I'd rather run the stock bulb and not worry about electrical issues and not worry about the bulb failing while I'm riding at night. Maybe later, if a reputable brand like Diode Dynamics, not to shamelessly plug them, but I will, they're good people over there. If and when they come out with a dual filament option that fits the Raider, I'll go ahead and swap it to LED, but it's just not worth hassling with to me right now. So that's pretty much it as far as the close-up look at the Raider. I know it has a couple custom stickers on the tank. What can I say? I'm a ricer. A good friend of mine owns a hot rod shop. His logo looks awesome, so we slapped it on the tank, whatever. It's not a show bike, it's a rider, it's mine, I like it, whatever. That's about as much as I can think of as far as viewer questions about the Raider. I'm gonna go ahead and get on the bike because that's way more entertaining than talking about it. But if you have questions, anything that you saw that I didn't cover, feel free to ask. The mods are pretty simple. Vance and Hines, power commander, switchback turn signals, custom seat, and then it also, because I'm a ricer, has underglow. It has remote control underglow from Diode Dynamics, which if you have questions about how to do that or what I used, feel free to DM me here or on Instagram. Yeah, that's enough of me. Let's get on the bike. Okay, so I'm going to try to address a couple of questions that people brought up after the initial review video about the riding experience. Now, one of the bikes that everyone wanted to talk about in regard to the Raider is the Suzuki M109R, which is Suzuki's answer to the Yamaha Raider. It's their 1900cc muscle cruiser. And people were saying, and good friends that I talked to that have a lot more riding experience than me, were saying, oh, you think the Raider's fast, the M109R is even faster. And I don't doubt it. From what I know, the M109 will smoke this thing, and that's totally cool. I don't actually care. I would love to ride an M109. I think it's, honestly, and this might piss people off, I think the M109 is a better looking bike than this. I really, really like the M109. I almost bought one, but that said, I found a good deal on this, and it was set up for a tall guy. Couldn't pass it up, so I bought it. But yes, the M109 most likely, from everything I know, will smoke this thing. And that's totally cool, because I didn't buy this necessarily to win races. I'll get another sport bike for that. But if you're cross-shopping, yes, the M109 will, in fact, beat this, apparently. I've never ridden one, but that's what everyone tells me. The other thing that people brought up, kind of oddly, because it's not necessarily a muscle bike so much as it is a mass production chopper style, was the Honda Fury, which is a 1300cc V-twin. It's not necessarily meant to be a direct competitor with this or the M109, but that said, people do cross-shop them. I know I did. I looked at them. The reason that I didn't get a Honda Fury, and I really, really like them, I think they look great, I think they sound great, was I was transitioning to the Raider from a sport bike, and I just didn't want to give up that much power. Not that the Fury's slow, but I wanted to transition over to something that was honestly kind of scary still. I didn't want to slow down to a 1300cc
V-twin Fury, and who knows? The difference in speed between this and a Fury might be nothing. It might be nothing at all. But in my brain, this was 1900 cc's, the Fury was 1300, and so I was like, nah. But the Fury is a super comfortable bike if you're a tall rider. It looks phenomenal. Yeah, you might get some crap from like real chopper guys because it's a mass production bike, but whatever, live your life, enjoy your bike. Another question that I got about this thing, and I might have addressed it in the first video, but apparently not thoroughly enough, was the fuel economy. Now, I honestly don't pay attention to fuel economy on this. I don't even hand calculate it because, I'll be honest, even using 93 octane, it costs me $7-ish to fill this up. So I just don't care what the gas mileage is. If it's 40, awesome. If it's 50, great. If it's 25, great. It doesn't matter. But that said, let's say you're going to commute on this bike, put a lot of miles on it, and maybe gas mileage does start to matter. I would guess that riding like an asshole, I get 35 miles to the gallon. And I'm not going to lie, like, I ride this bike hard. I take care of it, but I ride the wheels off this bike. But 35 miles to the gallon for the comfort and the fun and the speed and the torque is a pretty good trade-off. And I'm sure you could get a lot better if you didn't ride like me. It's so quick and it's so comfortable that nobody's ever going fast enough. And people that ride Raiders can attest to this. I've gotten angry at people because I'm getting stuck behind them because they're not doing 30 over. You start to get mad. You're like, why are you holding me up? Why are you going so slow? And then you look down and you're like, oh, it's because not everyone rides like a jackass or drives like a jackass. Got it. Okay. One last thing that was brought up that I thought was really, really interesting about the Raiders is apparently these things are dumb expensive overseas. I don't know why. I guess the cost of getting them over there or something, but I mean, as much as I love my Raider, and I do, it's not an expensive bike. Not in the States. I mean, even for a special edition, which I don't really know what makes a special edition in Raider, which I think is called the SCL. I don't know what makes it special, but I'm sure it is. Even a nice one of those is like $7 grand. So this one, which is not a special edition, you can pick up all day long for 4,000 to 6,000. And I guess overseas, they're more like 9, 10, 12, which is nuts to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool, I love it, but I can't imagine having to pay double for one of these. That's part of the reason I bought one, is because it wasn't priced like a Harley, but who knows, maybe Harleys are 30 grand overseas, I don't know. So anyway, this is a short, quick video following up on my initial Raider review. I hope you found it helpful or interesting. If I can answer questions about these bikes, about the Yamaha Raider, feel free to slide into my DMs. I am Big Fast Jake on Instagram. The link to my Instagram is in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you later. If you don't think that's a good looking bike, you can go fuck yourself. Oh, I just remembered, the plates on this thing are so expired. Oops. I gotta turn around and head back. Damn it. Okay, let's scoot along here, buddy. Okay, let's make the green light. Come on, come on. Make the green, dude. You gotta make the green. Okay. That's alright. Go around, you'll figure it out.